Hello, welcome to lecture 2 of Brilliance, How to Trust Your Inner Worthiness. This is the School of Reverence Summer Series. If you haven't already, please listen to the intro and lecture 1, or don't, just start right here, it's all good. And so let's just take a moment to even notice what our needs might be to really be able to absorb this lecture. So what your capacity is right now. And usually what I do, I offered this in the last lecture, is just do a little bit of a sanity break. And so a sanity break would be first noticing my breath by following the inhale all the way to its natural end and following the exhale all the way to its natural end. And if possible, allowing my whole body to be involved in that breath. So as I inhale, I might feel a sense of expansion. And as I exhale, I might feel some kind of softening. And then also just finding a little bit more connection with my body somehow. So maybe I'll kind of rub my arms a bit, my legs, or sometimes I like to squeeze and release. Rub my face a little, my neck. Sometimes even tapping a little bit's helpful. And then I just check into where the heck I am in space. And so looking around my environment, taking in whatever's capturing my attention. Yeah, and as I do that, my own needs, I notice I was getting frustrated with trying to figure out lighting and all that kind of stuff. So, which didn't really work out. So I'm going to do my best. So I noticed I just want to invite in some kindness. I'd like to just slow my speech down a little bit and be really present with you all. So check in with what yours are. You can always write them down in the comments. So I know next time what your needs have been, what you might need. And so today, I wanted to talk about one of our greatest resources to come back to our sense of worthiness. And so in the last lecture, I asked you to notice a place where you felt a little bit stuck in a place. I mean, maybe it's a habit, a behavior, an area in your life that's keeping you from really trusting your own damn brilliance, your fine self, you know? And I had talked about that really shows up for me right now as a person with disability, with that's moving through a new injury, just kind of how I show up in romantic relationships. That's my sticky, icky spot. So if you haven't considered that yet, take a moment to consider it, because that's what we'll directly be working with. So bring that in. And today I wanted to speak to compassion and how compassion is one of our greatest resources. And the thing is, most of us might feel under-resourced. And it's not because we don't have enough resources around us. It's because we're not really able to recognize and integrate the resources around us. And that's often because when we're under stress, it's really hard to notice our glimmers, our resources. What we're often scanning for when we're under stress or moving through trauma is we're scanning for whatever might harm us. So we don't even take in the things that are benefiting us, you know. For survival's sake, our brain's like, don't worry about that stuff. It's not going to kill you. Just worry about the things that are going to kill you. And so we really need to train ourselves to notice what benefits us, notice what's good, you know, notice what brings us back to ourselves. So I wanted to start with compassion, because what I've noticed working in addiction recovery, mental health, trauma repair, and working in support groups is that folks could be coming in to the group in deep despair, really confused, full of fear. And within an hour of everyone meeting that person with care and kindness and really, really listening and acknowledging what that person's going through, within a really short amount of time, that person's whole physiology, whole sense of being would be transformed. They would feel at least some degree more empowered, more grounded in themselves. And so I wanted us to kind of explore compassionate exchange a little bit, how you could kind of recognize moments of compassionate exchange. So if you're feeling like you have capacity to play along, take a few breaths. And when it feels like you can, bring into your periphery a time where maybe just recently where somebody just really, really listened to you, somebody took the time to acknowledge what you were going through without judgment and really showed up like a really compassionate friend. So bring that memory into your periphery. And if it hasn't happened lately, just imagine what it would feel like right now to have somebody absolutely 100% listen to you. And then notice as you bring that exchange with that friend in, what happens in your body, what happens to your physiology. I'm just taking in it was just my birthday, and I'm taking in the whole day I had with my son. He took time to just spend the whole day with me and took a lot of care to show me new skateboard moves, but also was really present when when I wasn't quite getting it, and was really present with me and encouraging me. And bringing that in right now, I can't help but smile. My body feels present and relaxed. So what's happening in your body as you bring in that moment of acknowledgement, of full acknowledgement from someone else towards you? You can take some time to write it down if you like, or just take a few breaths with it. Notice that that's possible for you. You've experienced that, and this is what it does for your body, for your mind, for your whole being. And then just let that go for now and bring into your periphery a time where you are the really fucking amazing friend. You really listen. You put your shit down. You're like, whatever you're going through, I'm gonna take some time for you. I'm gonna really be there. And notice what happens in your body when you bring that memory in of you being really present for someone else. And what comes forward for me right away is I did a tarot reading for a friend yesterday. It's a really good way for me to just put all my shit down and really engage with someone and give them and just reflect back, the brilliance of who they are. And again, it just brings me a lot of energy in my body and joy. My sense of connection with that person. So what is it for you? What shows up? Again, you can write it down or really take time to breathe it in, soak it in. And then this part, letting that go now with capacity, if you can. Bring into your periphery a time where you showed up that way for your own damn self. And maybe that one's hard to recognize. So maybe just imagine what would happen within your body and yourself and your whole being if you showed up that same way that that friend showed up for you, and that same way you showed up for your friend? What would happen in your whole state of being? And leave room for all sorts of emotions. Sometimes I'm like, fuck, I'm not a good friend to myself. Ugh. But I don't want to hate myself for occasionally, maybe more often than I should, hating myself, you know? So let there be some emotions around that, whatever arises. And then consider this sticky, icky thing that you want to work with through this summer lecture, and notice how you could show up as a compassionate friend for yourself through that, through the summer series. To what degree, and what would need to be put in place for you to be able to do that. Maybe you need to call upon another friend for now, you know, that really can hear you out. So again, take some time to write down or take note of what arose for you. I would love to hear what did arise, and putting in the comments so make me feel like I'm not totally alone on this little journey. So please let me know what that was like for you, just to check in. And I guess my last notes about compassion is, you know, I've learned a lot about trauma through the years, and how trauma can change our physiology. It can change the way we smell and we feel and we see. And that the thing is, so does compassion. Compassion can change my physiology for the better. Again, I can come in with such distress, and a short moment of compassionate exchange with someone, and I'm back to my brilliance, you know? I'm back to my worthiness. Even if it's for a short amount of time, it's of benefit. So that's the fruition of compassionate presence with each other, as we come back to our brilliance. We come back to our sense of worthiness. So we need each other for that. We need to reflect that back to each other. And we need to make a commitment to train in compassion so that we can show up in this way for others. So your homework then this week is to scan for compassionate presence, moments of compassion that you might be offering, that you might be receiving, that you might be witnessing this week, however small, you know, and absorb it. Like, take a moment of like, yeah, that's a compassionate moment. That's me landing back in myself. That's them landing back in themselves. And celebrate that for a moment. And let me know how it goes. You could even, at the end of each day, just kind of write down what you notice being moments of compassion. It can even be, I'm just opening it up, like I feel like I had just those moments of deep connection and really listening to each other. Even with my dog, every morning we go for a bike ride by the lake, and you know, she's not saying words, but she's listening, she's acknowledging me. So whatever sentient beings around you, whatever way compassion's showing up. Okay, I can't wait to hear how it all goes. And please remember, if it would be really helpful if you commented and liked and shared with people that might enjoy this whole little process. And I'm sending you much love.